Well, there's a proposed constitutional amendment on elections that has many different components. One of the components is creating something called provisional balloting. Provisional balloting is something we don't have in Minnesota, but we can see it in other states. And it can, in some instances, require that a voter using the provisional balloting procedure has to go down for a second time to the county courthouse or to some office, administrative office of the county. And of course, for a busy college student or somebody who's working a couple jobs, somebody without a car or their own transportation, often that makes a barrier that is not easy to overcome. In fact, nationwide, about 30% of provisional ballots are never redeemed, they're never open, they're not included in our election results. And part of that is the difficulty, especially for folks without transportation of their own or who are super busy, from being able to redeem them. So that's just one thing. A second thing is that the proposed amendment on the elections changes the rules so that now students in private colleges like Gustavus or Carleton or Bethel can use their college photographic identification as part of their procedure for registering to vote in the polling place so they can participate in the elections. The language was crafted to be limiting to only government-issued identification, and that consciously excludes identification issued by non-governmental colleges, private colleges. And so that is a big change that would affect especially our students, our young voters who are students at those private colleges and universities in our state. Another issue is that it changes the rules for absentee voting to require a different kind of procedure. And that different kind of procedure for many means that they can no longer use that procedure of mailing in the voter absentee. Many students are voting where they live, but students also continue to use the absentee voting process, and this would change that process pretty dramatically. So there are a lot of different effects that it would have on the voting system, and some of those effects have perhaps a specific or perhaps an even greater impact on students and young adult voters.